Hi everybody, I'm back to share with you guys the tutorial on how I made this Christmas card with a wreath on the front. So let's get started. What you're going to need for your card base, the red base here, is a sheet that measures 11 by 6 inches. Line it up at the 11-inch mark. And we're going to score it at 5.5. And then you can put your scoreboard aside. And you want to fold that in half. And we're going to use this as our card base. And what I've already gone and done is rounded all my corners of my pattern paper and my cream colored cardstock. So now I just need to round the corners of my base here. And then we're going to set that this aside for, oh, you know what, let's just put the cream colored on first. Okay, so the cream colored cardstock, which is the next layer, that's going to go on the front as well as the inside of the card. I measured that out at 5 1/4 across by 5 3/4 high. And I did use walnut stain distress ink on my card, which I'm going to go ahead and do later, but you might want to do that before you glue your card together. I'm just going to do it later to save us some time. And glue it on. I'll line the inside first, and the inside you could do whatever you'd like. I did on this card here, I stamped the corners and colored them up, and then I inked it with a little bit of walnut stain. Okay, so you could do that if you'd like. I'm not going to decorate the inside for right now to save us some time. And then I'm going to close my card and put the cream colored base on the front as well. And then for my designer sheet, I didn't have any more of the paper that I used for the first card. So I just picked another sheet from the same cardstock paper pad. It's from Recollections. It's called Hope and Faith, and my hubby picked it up for me this year for Christmas. And I just picked out this sheet here, and this one I measured out at 5 inches across by 5.5 inches high. And then I put dimensional foam on the back, and I buy these foam sheets. They're very thin, and I buy a lot of them at Hobby Lobby and Michael's, and I just pretty much hot glue them. It saves me some money than using the rolls of the dimensional foam tape. I do use this for certain projects, but for things like these I stick to the foam sheets. It's just more economical for me. And I went ahead and I glued a couple pieces on already, and then I just add hot glue to them. We're going to glue that on the front of our card. Make sure I have the right side up here. Don't want to glue my camels upside down. And that's just going to add a little bit of dimension to the card. So then I went ahead and I cut out a 4-inch cream colored circle, and that's going to act as our base for putting our greens around it. But before we add this to the card itself, I went ahead and I heat embossed mine. So I just get a bit of parchment and my circle here. And then I have my heat tool, which this might get a little bit loud, so I do apologize for that ahead of time. Gotta get my husband to, gotta get my hubby to oil my chair or something. It's very squeaky. Okay, so for the stamping part of it, and I've had several people ask me, this stamp set came from a card kit that I purchased a long time ago at Michael's. They don't sell these anymore. I don't know what kit it came from, but that's where I had gotten my sentiment stamp, so I don't have a link to that anywhere. And then the greens that I used, the branches, for the wreath of my card. Those are from the Sizzix Tim Holtz die set, and this is called Mini Holiday Greens. I've looked for this online. I purchased mine a while ago from Amazon, but I have looked for this online and I couldn't find this particular set. But if you need branches, they do have a lot of different branch dies online. You can look on Amazon, Hobby Lobby. I haven't checked Michael's, but you might want to give them a go. Maybe Joann's online, or you can go into the craft stores. Also, I've used Etsy and eBay. So, you know, there's several options out there, and they have a lot of branch dies similar to this. But for today, I used this branch die and this one here in two different color greens. And I glued those two branches together. And that's what we're going to use on our card. But if you can't find the exact die, just improvise and, you know, get yourself different branches. You can use all different kinds of things to make a wreath. You don't need, you know, exactly the same things somebody else has. I'm just, you know, sharing with you how I created this one. So got my stamp out. Put it on my block here, and that's too small. Use my bigger block. And the medium that I'm using is Perfect Medium by Ranger. Oop. And that's what I use for my embossing ink. Ink it up really well, and I'm going to try and center my stamp as best I can. Okay, and this ink just comes out clear. I don't know if y'all can make that out. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some gold embossing powder on it. Shake it all around. And that's pretty much what I have this the parchment out for, because when I'm done, oh, I got a lot of extra on here today. Normally it doesn't stick. Okay. When I'm done, I just kind of fold it up and put the excess right back into my pouch here. And parchment paper always works really well for me for stamping and embossing powder. But that's what I use, so I thought I'd share that with you. Also, my mat here is from Ranger, and I love, love, love this mat. I picked this up. It's a non-stick craft sheet. It's very great for heat as well. And I got this at Joann's quite a long time ago. This is an old one I have in here that I keep so that I can take with me when I go to friends' places, crafting and things like that. So I'm going to heat up my heat tool, and we're going to melt this embossing powder, and then we'll get started assembling our wreath. Some people like to heat it from the bottom. I just usually heat it from the top. I love when you heat it up because you can watch it start melting. I think that's so cool. I probably should have used a static thing on it before I embossed it. That way my little pieces wouldn't have stuck to it. But I don't know where that is. I can't find it anywhere, so for video purposes, it's good enough. Okay, so I melted that, and I'm going to add that and try and center it as best I can to my card. And then we're going to start making our wreath. When you make a wreath, it's really, you don't have to, but it's really good to have some kind of, depending on the shape of your wreath, have a circle, or say you want to make a heart-shaped wreath, have a heart-shaped base, something that you can follow so that your wreath doesn't end up wonky. And then what I'm going to do is basically go around with my branches all the way around the circle, but I don't glue them fully down. So all I did was I glued the edge of this one, and I started at the bottom and I glued that on, and then added a little bit more to the bottom part of my branch. I didn't put any other glue on, and I'm pretty much just going to lift this, add the bottom piece under, and shape it around the wreath. And the only reason I add the glue to the bottom here is so that I can continue to add my branches around, and then these will stay nice and fluffy like a natural wreath. So just add it to the bottom of your branch. Okay, lift the next piece up, lay this under, and you're following the shape of your circle. So I just turn my card as I go along, add glue to the bottom, lift the previous branch up, and lay this one down. And I just keep making sure that I'm following the circle that I put down here. Anyway, when you heat emboss, you want to get yourself something that helps with static and rub it on it first. And that way you won't get these little pieces, you can see here, that got stuck on mine when I heat embossed mine. Okay, so that's just a bit of advice. But like I said, I couldn't find mine for the video, so just went ahead and did it so that I could just show you the basic idea of making these wreath cards. And I am really enjoying this. I'm going to try a Valentine one next and see how it turns out. I'm going to do it with heart shapes. Okay, so we're following this around. And anyway, if that turns out, I'm going to do a circle base, but I'm going to make my wreath around it with different hearts. I've seen some cards like that on Pinterest, and I thought they were so cute. So I'm going to give it a try, and I'll definitely come back and do a tutorial if it turned out good. If it didn't turn out good, then you know, if I don't come back with a tutorial, that I didn't like it, but I'll definitely try and get that one done. I would love to try to make more cards this year and just have them in my stash. Birthday cards, anniversary cards, wedding and baby ones. I really don't. I went shopping this Christmas for special cards for people, and wow, the prices that I don't mind paying, money for a decent card, but some of them were so simple and they only had a little saying on the inside and they wanted $7 for it. And I just thought, oh my gosh, when you could make your own, why would you, do that? But I mean, I understand it's a business and they're trying to make money, but I need to make some more cards because I have the capability of doing it. So I'm going to try to do that more this year. But anyway, this is how the wreath turned out. And if you only add glue, like I said, to the bottom part of the branch, this stays nice and fluffy like a wreath. And then for my sentiment, I have the same one from that same paper pad, the Hope and Faith. And it says, Glory to the Newborn King. And I'm going to put that here on the bottom. And I've added some foam on the back for dimension. And I think that looks pretty decent right there. And then for my bow at the top, I did cut a piece of ribbon. And I cut this at 10.5 inches. And I'm just going to make 2 loops. Okay, so wrap it around your hands like this. Form 2 loops. And then I just pinch it. And I make the loops like this. When my fingers want to work, it goes together pretty easy. All right, let's try this again. Make your 2 loops, and then I just flip the top loop around in the inside of this area here and pull it through. There we go. And I'm just going to keep playing with it a little bit until I get here. Shape I like. I like that size, I think. So let me just trim off the edges here. Yeah, that's cute. And I'll just add some hot glue to the back. And I kind of want to try to center it at the top of my wreath, still letting some greens show through. And then I did, because this sticks up a little bit, I did add a little bit of hot glue to the back of that just to secure it down, especially if you're going to mail it. And that way it won't get all smashed and folded in the mail. And glue that down and that down. And that's it, guys. That's how I created this wreath card. And then I went ahead, like I said, stamped the inside, colored that up. Entirely up to you what you'd like to do. But I am going to try a Valentine one, and I'll be back to share that with you if it turned out okay. And if you have any questions on this, just let me know. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have fun making yours. Happy crafting!